All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, the elders of Great Millstone, who rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations unto the Akim out here pushing his gospel and truth and his sincerity to the best of their ability, given to them by Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, fall upon your houses. This is the brother Quana Wath come back at you, Lord will, with the edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord will. It is edifying, Lord will. It is straight to the point. And I ultimately want to land back on, a statement, right, that was made by the, the beloved brother, Ayak at, this last camp, right, on Sunday, right, yesterday. He made a beautiful point, of, getting this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding right now, right, taking the opportunity that is presented to us, right, and getting this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right, which is ultimately able, right, to, as it says in Isaiah 33:6, right, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and the strength of salvation, right? So we, just by reading that precept alone, right, as well as many others, right, but just that precept alone, it shows you how important, right, it is to get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, because we understand and we see through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem El Shai, right, that very soon, right, it could be, within the next, few years, right, we believe before, Trump's, presidency is over, right? So another 3 years. So within the next 3 years, it could be months, it could be even weeks, right? That all hell is going to break loose, man. Right? We see the, Trump moving harder when it comes to using ICE and, coming after, the so-called blacks, right? Which anybody that has, dark skin, right? Trump and his administration is coming after, right? Proving that they're fucking racist as hell, but nonetheless, right? We're seeing, more, attention being put, on the so-called blacks, like there's been, on the, really the northern tribes, since, Trump got in office, and then as well as, again, right, we're seeing the American economy just being destroyed right before our face, man. More and more nations are ultimately dropping the dollar or straying away from the dollar, right? Showing you that just America as a whole, right, economically, socially, financially is being torn apart, and it's only going to continue to get worse, as we've been telling y'all for years, man. Right, the situation that you see here in America, it's only going to continue to spiral out of control, right? Second Esdras, matter of fact, let me grab this real quick. In Second Esdras, this 14th chapter and the 16th verse, it says, "For yet greater evils," right? Evil being synonymous with bad, right? For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen, right, shall be done hereafter. So things are gonna, it's like rolling a snowball down a hill, right? As it continues to pick up speed and whatnot, it ultimately gets to a point where it's getting bigger and bigger and it's getting faster and faster and faster and faster, right? To where if it hits anything, it's gonna either destroy whatever what's in its path, or it's just gonna fucking create extreme damage, and that's the point that we're at, right? Everything is snowballing downhill, and the times are getting worse, to where soon shit's gonna again get out of hand, and there's gonna be a surging crime, there's gonna be mass death, knowing these things are coming, right? The best thing to do is to get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? Take the opportunity, right, that's being presented to you, right, to get right with Yahweh Bashem El Shai. Again, this message is going out to you Israelites, right? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? It's who these laws, such commandments were given unto, right? Weren't given unto any other nation, man. There's no other nation that's going to be able to call upon the name of the Heavenly Father Yahweh and His only beloved begotten Son Yahweh Shah and be delivered, right? Contrary to, Tweedledee and Tweedledum's fucking, changing up the doctrine, right? Hakah and Hassad from Genesis, right? The flavor of the week, if you will, right? Contrary to, what they're preaching, only the Israelites are going to be saved, man. Only the Israelites are going to receive salvation. So again, the message is going out. Hey, take the opportunity that's being presented to you, right, to get right with your power, man, to get right with Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and to receive salvation, man. But I do want to bring out the precept, right, that the brother Ayak brought out at camp, right? This is Ephesians 5, and we'll start at verse 15. But reading the header, it says, "Living by the Spirit's power," right? It says, "So be careful how you live, right? Don't live like fools, but live like those who are wise," right? Moving according to the scriptures, man. Moving with wisdom, moving according to the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, right? Being circumspect, right? Looking around, as it says also, in the KJV, right? To be circumspect, look around, pay attention, Scriptures also tell us in 2 Esdras 9:1, "Measure thou the time diligently in itself." So we look at these events that are happening around us, right? Whether they be in our city, whether they be in our state, our country, right? Even other countries, right? Across the globe, right? We look at all these different events, right? Such as uproars of the people, the earthquakes, right? The flames of devouring fire, man. These volcanoes, right? That have been erupting, sending up those pillars of smoke, which are also a sign. Right, we look at all these different signs that are happening in the earth, and we filter those through the scriptures, and it'll give us the understanding of the times we were in, man. And really for the last, man, really heavily, right, the last like 5 years since the scamdemic, it's been one thing after a freaking another. We've been seeing signs for years, man, but more prevalently, right, the last, I want to say 5-6 years, prophecy has been going hard, man, So as it says right here in verse 16, it says, "Make the most of every opportunity in these evil days," right? Make the most of every opportunity. What is an opportunity, right? Let's go ahead and look it up, right? Opportunity definition. It says a set of circumstances that make it possible to do something, right? A similar word. It says what? A chance, right? Scriptures say that time and chance happeneth unto them all. You know what I mean? And right now, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua has given us, the opportunity, right? The chance, right? In this grace period, right? To get right. Right? To cast off that old man, to ultimately be conformed to the image, right? Of Yahweh Shai, man. And I've repeated it time and time again. The scriptures say to walk even as he walked, man. So the best of our ability, right? We gotta again, cast off that old man and apply the scriptures to the best of our ability, in these times, man. Which in doing so, right, will allow for us to be approved of the Most High, Because our whole duty of man is to fear the Lord, right? First and foremost, which we know is the beginning of being accepted of the Lord, right? Pursuing a Sirach, the 19th chapter. And to do also what? To keep the law, statutes, and commandments. That is what we are supposed to be doing. First and foremost, because that's the whole duty of man, right? Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Right, but not only that, right? Pursuing in Matthew 19 and verse 29, hey, there's a reward for doing so. Right? There's a reward for walking on that straight and narrow path, man. Right? And let me say that there's a good reward for walking on that straight and narrow path. Because there's a reward for walking on the broad and wide path, right? Which is what? Death. But we don't want death, right? We want to receive everlasting life. We want to, when we read in 2 Esdras the 8th chapter and verse 52, we're talking about that paradise is open unto you. That's what we want. That's what you should want. Paradise, everlasting rest, right? To walk in wisdom forever, to never go off, right? To never be in these shitty ass bodies anymore, man. Never to be oppressed, ever again. That's the goal. That should always be the goal. You know, but you got a lot of Israelites out here, man, that you know, that they pull the shoulder away, right? They say, you know, prophesy unto us the seeds, because they're not about salvation, man. They're all about what feels good at the moment, man, right? Which is, again, part of that, you know, that broad and wide field, you know, that broad and wide path, right? Being carnal, right? Not looking at things spiritually, not desiring, you know, spiritual increase, man, right? Which is what? You getting this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, laying up those spiritual riches, and you know, again, to be approved by Yahweh Bashem El Shai and to be delivered. Right? Jake is just, you know, they got that Stockholm syndrome, man. Right? They're more worried about fucking, you know, bringing Esau along. And if they can't bring Esau along, well, I don't want it, which is fucking stupid. Damn devil's been fucking sitting here oppressing us for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years. And you want to bring this damn devil along to the kingdom? To receive salvation? You want to bring this devil along on a chariot? Fuck no, man. You know? Fuck no. Fuck these damn devils, man. But getting back to the point, right? You gotta, again, you gotta take the opportunity. You know? It says a chance for employment or promotion, right? A chance for success, opportunity knocks, right? A chance for success or advancement occurs. That's right. An opportunity is knocking. You know? When you look it up on the online etymology, it says opportunity cost is attested, and this is opportunity, as you see right here. It says fit, convenient, or seasonable time, right? Again, and we're in the time where, you know, in the season where this word is being preached, you know, and you can get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding for free, right? First and foremost, from our elder apostles, right on down, and men that are out here presenting their bodies a living sacrifice, preaching this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? Preaching this gospel, this truth, man. Sending out that warning through the Spirit. You know, it's free. You can get it. You know, at any time. You know, but Jake don't want it, you know. But it says right here, opportunity cost is attested from 1911. The expression opportunity knocks but once at any man's door is attested in 1898, which is true, right? Opportunity to do something, right? We usually only comes once, you know? It usually only comes once, man. You know, especially when dealing with this word, right? Dealing with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? You're really only going to get, you know, one opportunity, man. You know? And that opportunity is what? The grace period that we're in. You're either going to use it, right, for an occasion to the flesh, or you're going to use it, right, to get right with Yahweh Bashem El Shai. You know? And we understand that only the elect, right, of the nation of Israel, right, are going to do so, man. Only the elect of the nation of Israel are going to utilize this opportunity that's being presented. You know? Two-thirds of the nation of Israel here in America are not going to utilize this opportunity, man. You know, and this is a great opportunity, right? To receive forgiveness, right? To receive salvation. There's no other opportunity that's been, you know, presented that's greater to any one of us in our lives. This is the greatest opportunity that one can receive. You know? So utilize this opportunity that's being given unto you, man. You know? And I don't want to make this too long. I'm going to grab one more precept. And we'll close out this little quick, you know, lunchtime lesson. 2nd Esdras 5. It's like Sirach 5 in verse 7. Right? It says, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. Right? Because soon, right, the opportunity is going to come to a close. Right? The gates of mercy are going to come to a close. And now you ain't got the opportunity is gone. You know, because what? The famine of the word, right? Amos 8 and 11, right? Soon that opportunity is going to be taken away. And now you're not going to have the chance, you know, to repent. Now you're not going to have the chance to, you know, to cast off that old man, right? All hell is going to break loose and you're going to be fucked out here, man. You know? You're going to be asked out, and that's going to be all on you because, see, the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua rose up men to warn the masses, right? As he says in Isaiah 42:9, right? Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. He speaks through the ministry of the prophets, pursuant to Hosea 12:10. So he sends out the prophets. He raises up men through the Spirit, right? To go out there and to warn the masses, you know, of what's coming, right? And what to do before said peril or judgment ultimately unfolds, you know. So you're either going to take heed or you're not, you know. And those that ultimately don't take heed, well, guess what? Your blood is on your own hands at that point, man, right? Because the Lord rose us up to get your blood off our hands via warning you, right? Spreading the gospel, spreading the warnings, telling everybody, you know, crying aloud, sparing not, you know. So if you don't get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding now, that's on you, you know. So I'll read it again. Sirach 5:7. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. So it means when you think you're good, when you least expect it, when you're like, nah, you know, I'll get it later, man. Tomorrow, man, I'll do it tomorrow. Hey, well, tomorrow's not promised, man. Tomorrow is not promised. The Lord can have anything happen tomorrow. Literally, especially the times that we're in, anything can happen tomorrow. You know, and you're only as good as what you did for the Lord lately, man. You know, so if you are getting this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, you ain't reading, you ain't doing the lesson, you ain't studying, you ain't doing none of that. Hey, well, guess what, man? You have no value to the Lord at all, right? And that means you're going to be the one that receives that judgment, man. Not those who were out there warning, right? The prophets are all good, right? The prophets are going to be delivered. Those are the elect men, the 144,000, the governing body in the kingdom to come, right? Under Yahweh Shai. So the prophets are good. Those who take heed to the prophets, they're going to be good as well. Everyone else is going to be asked out. So get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you know, before it's too late, right? Matter of fact, I got one more and we'll close out. Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 5. It says, get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Right? Isaiah 33:6. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and the strength of salvation. Right? It says, love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. You know, and I'll go ahead and close it out there. Lord will was edifying. Lord will straight to the point. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, the elders of Great Millstone. Till next time, I say shalom.